Hello students, welcome to all Scholar classes. So today I will be taking the 7th part of chapter 13 from class 9 science, that is why do we fall ill. Okay, why do we fall ill? We have seen lots before in part 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6. Okay, so today what we are going to discuss is that limitation of dealing with infectious disease. So infectious disease has got 3 limitations which we are going to discuss today. Then we will see principle of prevention. In principle of prevention there are 2 methods. One is the general method and the other one is a specific method. So both these methods will be discussed. In general method we will see the preventing exposure against microbes and by boosting the immune system. Okay, by 2 types we will see. A specific method is done by immunization. So we are going to discuss all these. First we will see the limitation of dealing with infectious disease. So as I have told you, there are 3 limitations. Fine. So one by one we will see all the limitations. The first is that once someone has a disease, someone has got any kind of disease, that can be any kind of disease, the body functions are damaged. Okay, the functioning of a body gets damaged and sometimes it may never be recovered completely. Okay, suppose somebody has got some problem in the ear and they are not able to listen from one ear for a time being, but that hearing capacity cannot be recovered lifetime in some cases. In some cases it comes back. Okay, the second thing is that the treatment. It will take some treatment, takes time. Okay, it is going to take some time, which means that someone suffering from a disease is likely to be bedridden. Okay, it is going to take lots of time. So the person who is suffering from a disease is bedridden for some time, even if we give them a proper treatment. If they are given the proper treatment, then also they get bedridden. Okay. The third thing about a person suffering from some kind of infectious disease is that they can serve as the source from the infection and it may spread to the other people. Like in the house, the other people, those who are living along with them, they can also be infected. Okay, so this leads to multiplication of above difficulties. It is because of such reasons, 3 reasons which I have given you. The first one is that sometimes the disease they don't recover. The second is that people get bedridden for a longer time, and the third is that the person suffering may infect the other persons present nearby. Okay, so it is because of such reasons that prevention of disease is better than cure. Okay. Prevention is better than cure. We all know that. Fine. So we will be seeing the 3 limitations. The first one says that once a person has some disease, the body functionings are damaged and it may never be completely recovered. It may never recover completely. Okay. So once a person has been infected with a disease, the body function is damaged okay, the body functioning is damaged and it may never recover completely. The second thing is that the person who is being treated will take time to get recovered, which means that for some time he is suffering from disease, for some time he is going to be bedridden, even if a proper treatment is given. Okay, so the person can take lots of time to recover, means he can be bedridden even after given the proper treatment. Fine? And the third thing is that the person who is suffering from infectious disease can serve as the source from where the infection may spread to other person. Okay? So the person suffering from infectious disease may be the source of spread for other persons. Okay, so prevention is better than cure. These are the three limitations of dealing with infectious disease. Also, the treatment is going on, everything is there, proper medicine is given, everything is there, but there are some limitations. Firstly, thing is that the infected person body gets damaged and it may never recover completely. Okay, some loss is going to happen to a person. Secondly is that it takes lots of time. The person needs to be bedridden for some time. Thirdly, the person suffering from infectious disease may be the source and it may be spread to other person. The disease can spread to other person. Okay, so damage in the body functioning and it can never be completely recovered. They are bedridden, and thirdly they can infect the other persons, other people who are in their surroundings. So these three are the limitations of dealing with infectious disease. Okay, next we will be seeing about the principle of prevention. Fine. So now we will see the principles of prevention. We have seen the drawbacks. What are the drawbacks? Now we will see the principles of prevention. Fine. So basically there are two principles, two ways. One is the general method and the other one is a specific method. Okay. So the first is a general method and the other one is the specific method. Fine. So if we talk about general method, again general method can be prevention can be done by two types. Firstly, by preventing the exposed against microbes, means how we can kill the microbes, how we cannot allow the microbes to grow and their exposure. So preventing the exposure exposures against microbes. Okay, and the second thing what we can do is that we can boost our immune system. Okay, we can make our immune system very strong by boosting our immune system. Okay, next what we can do, second method is the specific method. In a specific method, what we can do, it can be done by immunization. Okay, immunization can be done. So can be done by immunization. Okay, if vaccine is being used, immunization is being used, we can do that. So principle of prevention, there are two methods. One is the general method and the other one is a specific method. In general method, prevention can be done by two ways. Preventing the exposures against microbes means we do not allow the microbes to grow. And secondly, we can boost our immune system. In a specific method, immunization is the best way that can be done. Okay. So firstly, we will see the general method, that is preventing the exposure against microbes. How can we prevent the microbes from growing? So if we talk about this method, in general way, general method we can say that preventing infection mostly relate to preventing the exposure. Okay, how can we prevent the exposure of infectious microbes? How can we prevent that these microbes, they do not grow much? Okay, so by preventing the exposure against microbes, it can be done in three ways. For airborne microbes, we will see what we can do. What we can do for waterborne microbes and what we can do for vector-borne microbes. Okay, so we will be seeing it in three ways. For airborne microbes, for waterborne and for vector-borne. Okay, three types we can see: airborne, waterborne and vector-borne, right? So let's see one by one all the three. So we will look at the means of spreading. We know that these microbes, they spread from air, they spread from water, or they spread from some vector like mosquito and all, or some kind of animal. So we will look over the method of spreading, how they spread, and we will get our answers how we can stop the exposure. Okay, so these are some methods and we can work on that. Okay, so in general method, firstly we will see for airborne microbes. So if you will go in my previous parts, you will see that we have discussed how these microbes they spread. So one of the method of spreading of microbes are airborne. Means they spread by air. How they can spread by air? If some person at a public place, he sneezes, he coughs, so that microbes, it is a chances that it can go, the droplets of those microbes, they can go into other person also. Especially in the crowded places, this can happen if somebody is coughing, somebody is sneezing. So for airborne microbes, we can prevent the exposure by providing living condition, okay, by providing living conditions that are not overcrowded. Means crowded, we know that these microbes, they grow more at crowded places. So we can avoid this, that overcrowding is not being done. Okay, so how we can do that? To prevent, we can, nowadays if you see for coronavirus, we have been told that we should maintain the social distancing. So what is that social distancing? That is basically that only, that crowding should not be there. Crowding should be stopped, because if there will be crowding, if one is infected, he will make the others also to be infected. Okay, so we can prevent exposure by providing the living conditions that are not overcrowded. Okay, that are not overcrowded. First thing, not overcrowded. Living condition ऐसी बना दें हम कि overcrowded ना हो. Secondly, if we are going at any public place, we should always try to cover our face. If we are sneezing, we are coughing, we should cover our mouth. Okay, why should we cover our mouth while coughing and sneezing? Because if we will cover our mouth, the microbes that are going to come out from our mouth in a form of droplets, which is going to be spread in the air, that will be prevented. Okay, so cover face, or you can say cover mouth, cover our mouth. Cover our nose and mouth while sneezing and coughing. Okay? While sneezing and coughing, we can cover our nose and mouth. So we can prevent exposure by providing the living conditions that are not overcrowded. Secondly, cover our mouth and face while sneezing and crowding. Okay, so this was for airborne microbes. Next we will see for waterborne microbes. Okay, just have a look over it. Two things we have to remember to prevent the airborne. Firstly, the overcrowding, and secondly, we should cover our face and mouth while sneezing, coughing, and when we are going into public places. Next we will see for waterborne. So for waterborne microbes, what we have to do, how we can prevent the exposure? We can prevent the exposure by providing safe drinking water. Okay, the first thing is safe drinking water. We can prevent the exposure by safe drinking water. Okay. Second thing what we can do is that if we want to bring safe water, this can be done by treating. How we can bring safe water? This can be done by treating water to kill microbes, contamination. Okay. So we can prevent the exposure by safe drinking water. Safe drinking water can be clean water or boiled water. We can use clean or boiled water. And the second thing is that we know that when government they supply water, drinking water, what they do? They normally do chlorination. What is chlorination? Chlorination is basically done to kill these microbes which are in the water. So we can kill any microbes in which have contaminated the water. Okay, so killing microbes. Okay. From drinking water. Okay. And next what we can do, we cannot so we have seen that we can prevent the exposure by safe drinking water, clean water and boiled water can be used. Okay. And secondly, we can kill the microbes which are present in the drinking water. So nowadays people, that's why they use RO water and all these, because it filters all the contaminated things. Okay, so we get a clean water for drinking. And the third method is the vector-borne infections. For vector-borne infection, so next we will see for vector-borne infection. So we have seen previously the mode of spreading. So one mode is the animals mode. Different animals, they carry many kinds of diseases, and the best known vector is a mosquito. So because mosquito is a carrier, the one that is carrying the disease is called as the vector, and it is influencing the person. That person is called as a host. So mosquitoes are the very common carrier. They carry lots of disease, malaria, dengue, and all these are being carried out because of mosquitoes. They carry out different kinds of disease. So for this, what we can do for vector-borne microbes, how can we give exposure? The first thing we have to do is that we need to keep our society, our surrounding, our environment clean. Okay, the first thing is that keep your society, surrounding, your environment clean. Okay, so you have to keep all these things very clean. Second thing what we can do for vector-borne infection is that you can allow the breeding of mosquitoes. You can stop the breeding of mosquitoes. How we can do that? Do not have any puddle of water open in the surrounding. Okay, so do not allow water to be collected. Don't allow water to be collected near your surrounding, where mosquitoes can breed. Okay, there mosquitoes can breed, so we should not allow their water to be collected near our surrounding. So because mosquito, we do not allow breeding of mosquitoes. Okay, this will let mosquitoes not to breed. Next, what is going to happen in these ways? We have seen the three types for air, water and vector-bornes. In other words, we can say that public hygiene is one of the basic key of prevention of the exposure to the infectious disease. Okay, if you want to prevent your infectious disease, you have to be very hygienic. You should be, your public society, your nearby places should be very clean. Okay, if they are clean, you will be not infected with any kind of disease, and even the other person. So public hygiene, public cleanliness is very important for preventing infectious disease. So we have seen the first thing, that how we can prevent the exposure of microbes. 3 ways are there: airborne, waterborne and the vector. Now we will see how we can boost our immune system. Okay, if one's immune system is strong, he can be prevented from infectious disease. So in addition to issues that relate to the environment, as we have seen, there are some other general principles to prevent the infectious disease. Okay, so the second is by boosting immunity. Okay, so what happens normally, we face with infections every day. Okay, any kind of infection it can be. Like if you are going in a road, you can get some dust in your mouth, some dust in your face, or any kind of infection we come around daily. Okay, so what happens? Suppose let's take an example. In your class, if someone is suffering from cold, okay, in your class any student is suffering from cold. So does all of you catches the cold, or only few catches and suffers from the disease? What is that? So the answer is that no, all of you are not going to catch the cold. Few may catch, but all of you are not going to suffer from that disease. This is because of this immunity. Okay, immunity, or you can say the immune system. Okay, this immune system decides, our immune system decides whether we are going to be affected by a particular pathogen, particular microbes or not, particular disease or not. If your immune system is strong, you can somewhat control from those diseases, and if your immune system is very weak, you will easily catch any kind of disease. Okay, so this is because the immune system of our body, what it does, it normally fights off with the microbes. Immune system, what it does, it fights with microbes. Okay, immune system fights with microbe. So if in your body any microbe is coming, we have got some specialized cells that specifically kills a particular microbe. Okay, so in your body, this is your body, there are so many cells, and a particular cell kills a particular microbe. Okay, these are cells. This cell is meant to kill this microbe 2, this cell will kill microbe 1, this cell will kill microbe 3. Okay, so like this, different cells kills different kinds of microbes. Okay, each cell is specified for killing a particular microbes. Like in your school, what happens? Class 1 teacher is specified that she is the class teacher of class 1. She is not going to be class teacher of second class. Okay. Now the second class teacher is fixed. Your 9th class teacher is fixed. Similarly, the cells of a body are fixed, are specific that they are going to kill a particular microbe. Okay. It's not like any cell can kill any microbe. No. This is the work of the immune system of a body, that if some microbe coming from outside, that immune system is going to, that particular cell is going to kill that microbe. So these cells go into action. When these microbes they come in, these cells they get into action and they just kill the microbes that enter in our body and that is going to infect us. Okay, so they are very successful, we do not actually come down with any disease. If your immune system is strong, normally we do not come down with any kind of disease, because as soon as the microbes will enter in your body, the immune system cells get activated and they will just fight with them, they will kill those microbes, okay? So the immune cells, they manage to kill the infections long before it assumes a major portions of your body. So these immune cells, they kill the infections long before, okay? So as we have already seen earlier that the number of infecting microbes is controlled, the manifestation of the disease will be minor, okay? If you will refer in my part 6, we have discussed that suppose this is your body. If the microbes number are less microbes enter in the body, which kind of infection will be? It will be a minor infection. But suppose if large number of microbes enter into the body, the infection is severe. Okay, severe infection is there. So the type of infection, which type of infection it is going to totally depend upon the number of microbes that are entering in our body. If they are small in number, it is going to be very minor infection. But if a large number of microbes come in our body, the infection is going to be severe. It can sometimes be life-threatening. Okay, so people can die in that cases. So in other words, we could say that we are exposed or if we are infected with any microbe, any infectious microbe, it is not necessary that always a disease is going to occur. Okay, sometimes our immune system, it will kill the microbe and it will not be suffering from any kind of disease. And sometimes those microbes can cause any kind of disease. So one way of looking at severe infection is that it represents the lack of success of immune system. If your immune system is not strong, it is not good, you can suffer from some disease. So it means that you have to keep your immune system very strong if you want to prevent disease. Okay, so to prevent disease, you should keep your immune system very strong. The functioning of the immune system, like any other system of a body, will not be good, will not be efficient if you don't take proper nutrition, if you don't have proper nourishment, proper food is not available, immune system is going to be weak. Okay, so for making your immune system strong, what we need to do? Nourishment, your nutritious food, nourishment should be good. Food should be good. Okay, you should always eat nutrient food, sufficient food every day so that you are fit and fine and your immune system is very strong. Okay, so second thing, how we can make ourselves to prevent disease, we should keep our immune system very strong, because these immune system, they give our body to fight, they help our body to fight against any microbes which is entering in our body, और वो जो immune cells है वो फटाक से उन microbes से लड़ते हैं, they fight. तो अगर immune system strong नहीं होगा तो microbes आराम से हमारी body में आएंगे और हमारे cells fight नहीं कर पाएंगे. लेकिन अगर हमारा immune system strong है तो हम microbes से fight कर सकते हैं, हमारे body की जो cells है वो microbes से fight कर सकते हैं. अब immune system को strong बनाना है जिससे कि हमारे disease prevented रहे, तो उसके लिए हमें क्या करना होगा? Proper nourishment चाहिए, proper good food चाहिए, पूरी proper diet चाहिए हमें, तभी हमारा immune system अच्छा होगा. Okay, so we should not be malnourished, we should eat healthy foods, and for boosting some vitamin C. It is always recommended that to increase your immune system, you should always eat vitamin C rich things like oranges, amla, lemon and all. Anything which is rich in vitamin C helps to boost your immune system to fight against the microbes like viruses, pathogens, bacteria, fungi and all. Okay, so we have seen that principles of prevention. We have seen the general method in which we have gone through two methods. First one is how to control the microbes, how we can prevent the microbes from growing, and second thing is that we can boost our immune system so that if any microbe anyhow it enters in our body, it is not going to survive in our body. We have to kill it. Okay, so for that you have to keep your immune system very strong. So the first method, that is the general method, we have seen. Now we will see the specific method. Okay, the second type of method, that is a specific method, or you can say specific ways. Okay, so we have seen the general ways of preventing any infection. So now what is these specific ways of preventing any infection? They relate to a particular property of an immune system that usually fights off microbial infection. Okay, particular property of an immune system it is. So let's cite an example. Suppose you must have heard about smallpox. Okay, so this smallpox is nowhere nowadays. Okay, but if you see 100 years ago, during your grandparents' time, what you will get to know that this smallpox was an epidemic. Okay, it was an epidemic and was very common among peoples. So this epidemic, they made people afraid. People were very afraid. They don't want to come near to the person who was suffering from this smallpox, and that person was separated. He was kept in a separate room so that nobody else can get that disease, or nobody else, that disease does not catch to anybody else. Okay, so however, there were a group of people who did not have the fear. So many people were there, those who do not have fear also. So smallpox was that, like that. It has been some people who has been already suffered from these smallpox and they have survived. They have not died. Okay, कुछ लोग तो die कर जाते थे, but कुछ लोग survive कर गए थे. तो those people, those who have survived after smallpox, they were not afraid of it. In fact, they were providing some nursing care to the person who was the victim of a smallpox. So this was a group of people who had smallpox earlier and they survived, although with a lot of scarring. Okay, some scare marks were there and all these, but they survived. They did not die. Okay, so in other words, we can say that a smallpox, once there was a chance of suffering from it again. Okay, if you have got a smallpox once, there is no chance of suffering it again. Why this happens? Okay, why this happens? The reason is that suppose a person is there, he suffers from smallpox. I am talking about 100 days ago, 100 years ago. Nowadays there is a vaccine. I will be talking about that. So nowadays there is no chance of smallpox. So when this person is suffering from smallpox, there are two conditions. Either he will die, and if he survives, okay, if that person survives, in future there is no chance of smallpox. Okay, या तो वो die कर जाएगा, और अगर वो survive कर गया तो future में उसको smallpox नहीं होगा. Why? The reason is that when he had been suffered from smallpox, what has happened? These microbes, they have entered in the body, and because these microbes have entered in the body, the immune system gets activated and it creates antibodies against this microbe. What does it create? Antibodies. So in the body, when once this antibody has been developed, once, now if in future whenever this microbe is going to enter in your body, whenever it will come, these antibodies, they will be alert and they will fight against that particular microbes. Okay, so अगर किसी को बाई चांस स्मॉल पॉक्स हो गया तो उनके जब स्मॉल पॉक्स हुआ, माइक्रोब्स एंटर हुए, तो वो माइक्रोब्स इम्यून सिस्टम ने क्या किया कि एंटीबॉडीज, डिफरेंट एंटीबॉडीज बनी उन माइक्रोब से फाइट करने के लिए. अब जब वो एंटीबॉडीज एक बार बन गई तो दे विल रिमेन इन योर बॉडी एंड नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन अगेन यू विल बी इन्फेक्टेड बाय द सेम माइक्रोब, दोज एंटीबॉडीज दे विल गेट एक्टिवेटेड, दे विल फाइट विद दीज माइक्रोब्स और आपको फिर दोबारा स्मॉल पॉक्स नहीं होता था. तो दिस हैपेंस बिकॉज व्हेन द इम्यून सिस्टम first sees an infectious microbe, it responds against it and then it remembers it specifically. Okay, इसीलिए कोई भी माइक्रोब है वो उससे एक स्पेसिफिक सेल ही फाइट करता है, सारे सेल्स नहीं फाइट करेंगे. और जब भी वो फ्यूचर में माइक्रोब्स आएगा, नेक्स्ट टाइम whenever it comes, the particular microbe is a close relative, enters in the body, the immune system responds even greater. Okay, it is going to respond even in a greater way. Okay, so this is how the people who have survived because of the smallpox, they do not get infected again. Okay, so this is a concept of here. This is the basic principle. This everything which I have told you. This is the basic principle of immunization. Immunization. Okay. So what is immunization, or you can say vaccination? Okay, so nowadays you have heard that these kiddos, these infants, they are given different kinds of vaccine. So what is that? Okay, they are being immunized, they are being vaccinated. So vaccine में होता क्या है basically? So we can see now that there is a general principle that we can fool the immune system by developing a memory for a particular infection by putting something. Okay? तो vaccination में क्या होगा कि आपकी बॉडी में कुछ माइक्रोब्स डाल दिए जाएंगे. ओके, बॉडी में माइक्रोब्स डाले जाएंगे जिस पर्टिकुलर डिजीज के होंगे. हेपेटाइटिस के माइक्रोब्स आपकी बॉडी में, suppose if you are taking the vaccination of hepatitis, some microbes of hepatitis will be put in your body. Okay, so these microbes, they are not going to turn in actual disease. वो disease तो नहीं cause करेंगे, but these microbes will let the body to make antibodies. इससे antibodies बन जाएंगी और ये antibodies body में हमेशा preserve रहेंगी. तो नेक्स्ट टाइम जब भी आपको किसी इन्फेक्शन होता है, किसी भी टाइप का, लाइक हेपेटाइटिस का, जब भी इन्फेक्शन होगा तो जैसे ही हेपेटाइटिस के माइक्रोब्स आपकी बॉडी में आएंगे, these antibodies they get alert and they kill these microbes. The immune system self, the particular cell is going to kill these microbes. So many such vaccines are now available like this for preventing the whole range of infectious disease and provide a disease specific means of prevention. Okay, so this is disease specific means of prevention. Specific है, specific क्यों है? क्योंकि एक specific cell responsible है कि वो particular microbe को kill करेगी. Okay, a specific cell is responsible to kill for a particular microbe. So there are nowadays lots of vaccine has been developed. Infants are given the tetanus vaccine, Boefing cup is there, and measles is there, polio is there. Then they are also given hepatitis. So many vaccines are nowadays available. These form the public health program of childhood immunization, vaccination to prevent the infectious disease. Okay, so I think the concept of specific method का concept क्या है? Specific microbe को एक specific cell kill करेगा, और वो कैसे होगा? जब आपके अंदर वो particular microbes की antibodies बन चुकी होंगी। आप जब भी वो माइक्रोब आपके बॉडी में एंटर करेगा तो वो एंटीबॉडीज उससे फाइट करने के लिए रेडी होंगी। तो ये एंटीबॉडीज बेसिकली कैसे होती हैं? जब वैक्सीन डालते हैं तो दैट इज ओनली अ मोड हाउ द नेक्स्ट टाइम इफ यू आर गोइंग टू बी इन्फेक्टेड दे आर रेडी टू फाइट। ओके, so students, this was all for today. Here we complete our part 7 and even the chapter 13 by it has been completed. Okay, so this was all for today. I hope you liked the lecture today very much, because principles of prevention is very important. There are two methods. The general one, which tells us that we should keep our surrounding clean, and second thing, we should boost our immunity by proper diet, proper nutrition, proper nourishment. We should boost our immunity system. Secondly, a specific method. Specific method says that a particular specific cell is responsible to kill a particular disease. Okay, particular microbes. So for that we need vaccination or immunization. Okay, and nowadays so many vaccines have been developed for hepatitis, polio, measles are there, and so many. Okay, so this was all for today. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching my video. Please give a like button, and if you have not subscribed our channel Always Correct yet, please do subscribe it so that you can get the daily updates of the videos which we are uploading. And also don't forget to download our app, whose link is given in our description box. Just go through it. You will enjoy the videos. You will love the PDF notes which are very concise, very topic wise, and also there are MCQ questions which will help you to see where do you stand. So thank you so much. Thank you for watching my video. Please give a like button.